Hey guys, there you are, and welcome back to Get Going Fast, a place where we get you into this exciting hobby of AI in a quick and hopefully understandable and relatable sort of a manner. Because AI is an excellent hobby. And today we're going back to an app that we looked at here just earlier in the week called Zonos. And guess what? So some feller has released a version of it that installs easily onto our Windows, which is so excellent because in the past, we had to install this into the WSL, and that is always a little bit iffy, just because it's not native, to Windows, and there's a lot of steps. But no, not even a problem. So this fella over here, SDBDS, okay, hats off to him, all hail to him, has created the repo. We're going to go through this and install it, and it's going to run the same as the other thing ran with WSL, but even easier.
Get Fast is so great for getting started with AI in a quick and understandable manner. Relatable instructions and quick installers to get you going fast.
Very cool, huh? So that is actually really excellent. And that was using a, not only typing in what we wanted, but actually using a voice off of YouTube to mimic it. So very cool stuff. And we're going to walk through every step of this. It's not as easy as the instructions say on the repository because there's some problems. The fellow who wrote this is Chinese, and so he uses some Chinese characters in the installation. So we got to change that up a little bit, make it easier to run. And as well, there is a small, I don't know if there's an error or just maybe it works. I'm sure it works on his system, but there's a little small change that we're going to have to make in one of the files. So be sure to hang in there, and we're going to go through that as well. Okay. As always, too, we do have it over on the Get Going Fast site, and you can see that I have updated the script over here. So if you just want to get going fast with this, go ahead and you can just get the installer that is free for members, and or else you can just pick it up. But otherwise, we're just going to go through this manually, get this going. I'm going to show you the nuances, stuff we have to do. And this is a 200,000 hour 200,000 hour trained model. That's incredible. I mean, that's professional quality stuff there, and that they've given to us open source. So very cool. Hats off to all these people. So we're gonna do that. But before we do that, I want to thank you once again for being part of this. And I want to thank you for not being turds. Hey, there's a lot of turds on the internet, but not you guys. You guys are great. Okay. And you know what? We want more people like you involved in what we're doing here. So I know you got a buddy or someone else that's interested in AI. Think about jumping over to the getgoingfast.pro site, getting them a guest membership, getting them a gift membership. Listen, you're going to go out to McDonald's, Burger King, and spend $10 to buy them lunch. Get them a membership. Come back and be like, listen, I know that you was hungry right now, but I'm going to feed your soul instead of your body. Here you go. Here's an AI subscription. Okay. And I'm sure that they will certainly appreciate that. Okay. So appreciate you doing that. Listen, if you need help with anything getting going, hit us up on the Discord, Reddit. I'm happy to help as I can. If you would like more sort of concerted effort, you can always rent my time as well. Happy to come on there, and I can actually click, make sure that your system is set up as well. But we're going to move on now with Zonos for Windows. For Windows, okay, let's do this. Okay, so to get going, we're going to go to our internet over here, and all we really need to do is do a search for Zonos for Windows, okay? And it's going to bring up this SDBDS link, okay? So you're going to come up like this. Now, this is, notice he's forked it off of the existing one that we were doing for WSL. So forking just means that they put it up there and then someone takes a copy of it and then modifies it. Beautiful thing about open source is that you're allowed to do that. If there's anyone out there that tries to tell you that you can't copy something or modify something that's open source, they're not telling you the truth, and they're actually coming against the community. If it's open source, you can buy it, sell it, distribute it, change it, whatever you want. Okay. And that's the beauty of open source. So I really encourage you guys to get more involved with that. So anyway, that's what this guy's done. He's taken it, he's modified it for us all. And we're just going to scroll on down, and it's going to look at, you notice a lot of this is the same as it was before. Okay. Now we're going to get down to our installation, and he's added this part, Windows installation. Okay. Now, don't worry about all this stuff. Okay. This says this repo needs CUDA 12.4 and all of this stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to go down to this one click here. Now, I do want to say, I just put out a video on upgrading your CUDA to 12.8. We decided that it was finally time to move off of 11.8 and move up into the 12. The beautiful thing about it, we've researched this and we make sure that if we do everything correctly and in a systematic manner, we'll get the old one off clean, the new one on clean, and we can still use our old apps. Okay. So, just an FYI, go check that video out, spend the week getting your, system upgraded. But anyway, we're going to pop over to here. And what we're really concerned about is this part, this one click here. Now, it's not as easy as a one click. We have to make some changes to it. Okay. But notice what it's going to do is it says PowerShell run with, and it's got this file. This is weird. Notice it's got a 1 and a comma. Okay. Evidently in Chinese systems, this is kind of a normal sort of thing. It doesn't translate well into English systems. So, we're going to end up with a file that has got this horrible name. The fact that it has spaces in it is terrible. The fact it's got a comma in it is just tragic. But, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. If you go up to our repo, you're going to notice it's there. Okay. 1 and 2. All right. So, same thing. He's got that 2 with the comma. That's horrible, but it's fine. Those are the files that we need to be, working with. So all we got to do, okay, is clone it and run this thing and then make some changes. So what we're going to do, we're going to pop up here. We're going to grab this address and we're just going to hit Control X. As simple as that. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pop on over to our command line. Okay. And let's see here. Do this. Okay. Let's make this a little bit bigger for y'all. Okay. Now we want to get to a directory that we want. I'm going to put mine on the D drive. Okay. You could also just type CD / that'll put you to your C drive if you want, but I'm going to type D and then a colon, and that's going to put me on my D drive. If I wanted to change back to the C drive, I could do C and a colon. Okay. So that's how you choose your different directories. Now I'm going to go into a temp directory, CD temp. If you didn't have a temp directory, you could type mkdir and then temp, and that means make directory, that would create it. Then you could type cd temp to cd into it. That means to change directory. Okay. So now we're in the temp directory. I'm going to make another one. I'll call it Zonos Windows. Okay. So mkdir. Now I'm going to type cd change directory, and I'm going to go cd Zonos Windows. Easy peasy. If I type dir for directory, you see there's nothing in it. Brand new. Well, I'm going to type CLS to clear my screen. Clear screen, clear mind. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type the word Git. Git is our software that we use to download repository. You don't have this installed. You need to install it. It's very easy to do. So what do we want Git to do? We want it to clone something. Okay, so we're calling the application and we're telling it we want it to clone. And then I'm just going to hit Control V. And that means to paste in the address of the repository, and it's going to create a folder called Zonos for Windows. When you Git clone something, it always takes the last part and makes a directory. So we're going to hit there. Notice it's going to go ding, and it's done. Now, if I type dir, you're going to see I have a folder called Zonos for Windows. Inside of this folder is going to be all the files. So I'll go Zonos for Windows. Okay. And now if I type dir, you're going to see I've got everything in here. Okay. Now here's these things are problem files. Okay. First of all, I want to point out it's a PS1 file. So that means it's a PowerShell file. Okay. So PowerShell is like command line, but it's not. Okay. It's the exact same, only totally different. Okay. It's for more, it gives you more authority over the Windows system. And it also has its different languages. We don't use PowerShell a whole lot. I try to avoid it just because it's unnecessarily complicated for what we're doing. But every once in a while, you got to use it. And in this case, they're giving us a PowerShell script, so we go and use it. But notice this one and this comment. This is bad news. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say REN. I'm going to hit Control V. REN means rename. I'm going to type it in there, and then I'm going to rename it install.ps1. Okay. Now watch what happens. If I type dir, you'll notice that's gone and it's changed it to install.ps1. Okay. It's going to just make it easier for us to work with. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to copy this bad boy, this run one, hit Control C, and then I'm going to type ren, Control V, and then I'm going to go run radio.ps1. Okay. Easy peasy. So, okay. So now if I type dir, you'll see those troublesome files are gone. And what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and run this, where is it at here? The install.ps1 file. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. Okay. The easiest way to do this is to actually just click on your file explorer like this, and you'll see your install.ps1. Now, I don't think you can, it will show, but if you right click on it, you'll get an option that says run with PowerShell. And that's actually what you do. PS1 means not PlayStation 1. It means PowerShell. Okay. So you can right click on it and there will be an option to run with PowerShell and it will execute this. Okay. That's a very legitimate way and the absolute easiest way to do it. The only reason I don't typically like doing that is because if there's an error, it pops up your command line window. And if there's an error, it closes it. So you can't see it. So I'm going to also show you a little bit something we can do here if we, to do it manually so that if there's an error, it'll stay. You can click on over back to our browser and let's just go over here and we're going to go to my blog. We'll go to cognibuild.ai. Okay. It's going to bring you up to here. Then just click on blog. All right. And you're going to see here, it says running PowerShell scripts from Windows Terminal. Click there. And all you got to do is copy this out. But notice we have to change the name of the file. So this is how you do it in command line. We'll go over there and I'll show you what everything is doing. Click onto our command prompt. We make sure that we're in the correct directory. Okay. I've got the correct window open. There we go. Now I'm going to hit Control V. Now I'm going to show you a few things. Here it says PowerShell. That's how we're going to say we're opening up PowerShell. Just like we use Git or we use Conda or Python, we're using PowerShell. It's the app. And we're giving it a parameter. We're saying don't load any profiles. Just use the basic thing. So that way it just helps us to avoid if there's any weirdness going on. Is it just uses the basic. And then this next thing is important. This execution policy, that's a parameter. We're saying bypass it. So PowerShell has in it that it won't let you run scripts unless you tell it explicitly to do it, okay, or you can turn it off completely. So by typing execution policy, and then we're giving it the value of bypass, we're saying run the script. Now notice here, it says name of file. So we need to delete this, okay, and then just put the PS1 file that we want, which is install.ps1. We're going to type install.ps1. We're going to hit enter, and now it's going to go ahead and it's going to go run through all this. Now, the way this is set up, it's going to create a virtual environment. Okay. It's going to go ahead and install the stuff. There you go. It's all installing. And look at how fast that went. Okay. So that actually went fast, but the reason it went fast is because I have it installed already. So some of the stuff is going to be a little bit faster, but you were still going to have to download the models. Okay. So this will be done. Now, if we go type to our dir, we're going to see that we still have our run radio.ps1. So if we want to run it, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to click this up arrow and we're going to change this install.ps1 to run _ Gradio, but don't do it yet. We've got a little bit of a problem. Okay. And the problem is there's an error, or like I said, maybe it's not an error meant to be an error. Maybe it works on some system. It ain't going to work on your system. So we got to fix something. We need to make a change in a file. So what we're going to do, we're going to type CD and we're going to go CD Zonos. You're going to notice there's another directory in here called Zonos. Okay. Going to take us in here. Now, if we type dir, we're going to see there's a file called model.py. So what we're going to do is we're going to modify this model.py. So we're going to just type notepad. That's the app we want to load. And we're going to type model.py. So we're going to say open up model.py in notepad. So we'll hit enter and it's going to pop up in this. Is it open for you? Okay. It's going to pop up to here. All right. And what we're going to do, if you notice down here in the bottom left, let's see if you can see down here in the bottom, you're going to see line numbers. Okay. Whatever line number it says there, I'm on 18. If I click here, I'm on 23. We're going to scroll down to 238. So just kind of click until you see it 238. Okay. And you need to see this line: decode _1 token equals torch compile, dynamic equals true, disable equals CG, or disable torch compile. So what we're going to do is we're going to just highlight this. Okay. We're going to delete it all. And we're just going to type the word true with a capital T. All right. So, I'm not actually sure why this works. I haven't spent a lot of time trying to figure out. I just know it works. Oh, I'm getting going fast. I just want this to work. So I'm going to hit Control S. Okay. Now we're going to go back to our command prompt. Okay. We've changed the file. Now we're going to run this and everything is going to work. If you don't do this, you will get an error when you try to create stuff. So I'm going to press the up arrow. I'm going to go all the way back here to where our installed PS1 is. Now I'm going to use my left arrow and I'm going to delete all this stuff. Okay. And, actually, before we do this, let me hit escape. We need to get back to our Zonos for Windows folder. So I'm going to type change directory. I'm going to hit ... That means take me back one directory. So if I type dir, you're going to see I have run gradio.ps. So, oops. So let's get the up arrow now. So get back to our PowerShell. So PowerShell, no profile, bypass the script security, and let's just go. We can keep the PS1, but let's delete that, and we're just going to type run _ Gradio. Okay, now watch what's going to happen. We're going to hit enter. And this thing, why did that go small? That's interesting. Anyway, so, it's because I don't know why that did this. Must be PowerShell thing. Anyway, so it's going to go ahead and load. Notice it's running your Windows VENV. Okay. And it's going to take a little bit of time because here in a second, you're going to see it start to download the models. And I think can't remember if it's 4 or 6 gigabytes. It's fairly large. So we'll just sit here for a second and wait for it to start downloading. The loading of the app will take a long time the first time you do it because it's got to download the models, and it'll take not anywhere as long as the install, but it still takes a little bit of time even after you download the models, because it has to load. Okay. But right now it's going to start downloading. So we'll just hit pause and we'll be right back. Okay. And now you're going to see it starting to download the model. So you'll get to this point. It pops up over here on the browser. You can see it actually loaded up the Gradio app already. And it's got these little swirly things here that are just telling you to wait. And the reason is because we go back to here, we can see it's downloading the model. All right. So that's going to take a little while. Look, so it says it's 3.25 gigabytes. Okay. So it's not huge. And I don't know if it's just the one or not, but take a little bit of time. So we'll pause here. We'll come right back. Okay. Actually, so notice it's downloading a few other stuff. So got that one down. Now it's downloading a 307 megabytes. And let's see here. We can tell. Oh, and there it's done. Okay. So now you get down here. When you see this, you know it's done. So if we click back to our browser, hey, it's running. So now we can go in here. We can type, get going fast. It's so extra cool. I'm so glad I found this place. I found it. Okay. So we can go ahead, click our generate audio. You see it's doing its thing there. It's growing. If we click over on our command prompt, you'll see that it's moving there. Okay. Get back to our browser. And this does start going faster after you use it. You know, it loads the stuff up there. Plus, I'm running quite a lot of VRAM at the moment because I've got all this video stuff going on. So it'll probably go faster for you.
It's going fast. It's so extra cool. I'm so glad I found this site.
Aren't you? I'm glad you found it as well. All right. So there you have it. We got it installed, and just like everything else here, if you want to put your own voice into here, download a thing off YouTube or find your own clone, get a recording of a voice you want, put it into here. It'll work. Under your advanced parameters, you can play around with this emotion and stuff. I haven't really had much success with this stuff. But you can play around with it, see if it works. You can watch my other video on how to do that. Also, like I said, if you just want to get going fast, you don't want to worry about changing code and everything, just go grab the Windows installer over here off the Get Going Fast page, and you'll be going within minutes. So let's let this finish up, and then I think we will call it a day. I always hold hope that this is going to work, these emotion things, but I haven't had them work yet. Let's get
going fast is so extra cool. I'm so glad I found this site.
So it didn't really sound fearful. Maybe if you used words that were more fearful, it would work. But anyway, so there you have it. Okay. We got Zonos for Windows going. It wasn't that difficult, but we did have to play with PowerShell a little bit. We had to rechange some names of files, and then we had to go into the notepad and tippity tap, tap, tap around line 238 to fix that up. But then we're grabbing WSL and we're throwing it out the window. We don't got to deal with it no more. So, all right, you guys enjoy that. Let me know how you're putting it to use. I would love to see the creative tools that are the creative stuff you're creating with it for your social media or whatever. Come over to the to Discord and share it with us. We'd love to see you over there. We just hang out pretty much all day long and do this nonsense all day, and we'd love to have you be part of it. In the meanwhile, you hang in there, and we're going to catch you on the other side.